We do have a sign-in sheet, you can sign in now or later, and I'll take care of a few housekeeping items at the end of this, but I do want to say, I appreciate, as a professional practicing planner, I appreciate when we see a community like this come out for an event like this. It's amazing the interest. Hopefully that we can learn some things from the crowd today. That's really the goal, is to give the community the first look at our first iteration of a plan here on our property, and get some feedback. That's really the goal. So by way of introduction, again, nice of everyone to make it out tonight. The weather's beautiful, no snow, anything like this, so that's good news. Appreciate that. My name is Ryan Windle. I'm the VP of Land Development for DeGrand Developments, Inc. And to clarify, so you'll see a few different names. On our map, for example, you see Tor Construction, Inc. You might hear Green Homes. You might hear DeGrand Developments, Inc. We're all the same. Don't worry, there's not three different people, just we have to structure that for business reasons, but those are the names that you'll hear. Okay? Just want to make sure I don't miss anything here. So in terms of introducing us, again, I'm Ryan. We do have the owner in the crowd. I don't know where he is right now. He's not hiding, trust me. Where are you? Abu, there he is. This is Abubakar Masood.
Hello, guys.
He is the owner of the property. We also have Alistair Andrews. He's our man in the back there from DeGrand, trying to get you registered and whatnot. And we also have Scott Waterhouse here from GHD. He is our professional consulting planner. He's responsible for all this great work that you see, reporting all the reports and writing all the planning work. He's really the star of the show tonight. He might disagree, but he certainly is. He's going to make a presentation after I'm done talking. He's going to make a presentation to summarize our plans, our technical reports, and really where we are in the planning process. I think it's important for the crowd to know exactly where we are, because we are very much at the beginning of the land planning process. You have to remember that's what this is. This is a land planning exercise, okay? And I do want to acknowledge Mayor Doug Elmsley. He is in the crowd. Councillor Ron Ashmore is in the crowd also. I apologize if other council members are here. If you are here and are willing, you can raise your hand. But certainly, Councillor Harris? Perry, sorry. And another councillor back there. Nice to see you guys. We appreciate you coming out, and I definitely want to acknowledge your attendance, and I'm sure the local crowd here appreciates your interest. I know we do. Okay, so before Scott gets started, a little bit about DeGrand. So it's a family-owned business, and Abu is one of the principals with his brother and one with his sister. I think around 30 years, Abu? 40, 25, 30 years? Small organization, under 30 employees right now, but we're small and mighty, working towards building many more exciting projects as we go forward and develop as a company. Abu will tell you that they played a significant role in a number of residential houses, in the thousands, in terms of their projects. Over the years, they've essentially specialized in low-rise, single-attached dwellings, townhouses, semis, some semis. We've completed projects in Brampton, Markham recently. We are working in Oakville, Barrie, and of course Fenelon Falls. And we continue to work on projects that include, again, singles, semis, all types of townhouses, whether they're sold or they're condos or whichever kind that is sort of open to the market. We are getting into the mid-rise marketplace, and we are also getting into the high-rise marketplace. We do have an exciting project in Barrie that we're working through. But just to tell you a little bit about us, that's us in a nutshell. Got some experience. This is kind of our bread and butter. This type of application, this type of development, a mix of different types of housing forms. A little bit of housekeeping. Scott will get going in a second, I promise you. What we would like is, when Scott has done his presentation, we're going to break to have some food. We invite people, it's a fantastic spread. We invite you to go and grab a bite. What we really want to do is, we'll come down off the podium, we'll go stand by the boards or here. We'll invite you to come and meet us. There's 4 of us here, and talk openly with us, give us questions, provide us comments. We'll mentally note them for sure. We'll try and give you answers. But we also have some forms that we'd like you to fill out, if you're willing. We have one general comment form, free form for you to provide any comments, and you can leave that here with us, or you can take it home and send it to us later. You do have the contact information, or you can get it. We also have 4 set questions that we'd appreciate if you're willing to answer. So you can pick those up if you haven't already. We have copies. If there are none left, we can certainly make them available to you. But you can fill it out tonight, or you can take them home and fill them out, because that's what we're looking for. It's a very big room, a very big crowd. It's going to be very difficult to sort of just fire questions, rapid fire at us. We want to, again, come down off the podium, come and meet you in person, have some food, and we're willing to take the 4 of us, we're willing to take the comments, the questions. But I do want to encourage you to use those formal forms so we get to hear from you what you think. Okay? And that way we can figure out how to deal with those issues as we move forward with our application. Again, this is our first draft attempt at a plan of subdivision. Okay? It's with the city, but they're still working through it, but it's very much in the beginning stages. I did mention the registration sheet a couple of times. If you haven't filled it out before you go. Again, if you're willing, we do like to have contact information so we know who is here. And it's also good for us to have, we can send out future information, any notice or anything like that. And we will provide this information and any comments we receive to the municipality, because they're going to want to understand what the community is saying. That will be part of their process too, right? So hopefully that message is coming through. At the end of the presentation, we'll break, and then we'll stand around the boards and we'll take some questions and take some comments for sure. And you can fill out your forms or discuss among yourself. Okay?
You're wasting our time. Let's get on with it.
Speak it, get the show on the road.
9 o'clock comes pretty early.
You're supposed to give us open mic chance to tell us what we thought.
All right, so moving on, my last comments are, just so you know, we've heard a few things to start already. We've been receiving some comments, we've acknowledged them. Those themes are infrastructure availability. I know that's come up.
There is none.
We've got our functional servicing report that's part of the application that we reviewed by the city. We're not taking questions, comments. Okay?
You're not.
Enough. You're wasting our time.
I'll stop.
But get on.
I'll stop for a second. Let you calm down.
Oh,
Let me finish my
well
notes.
done.
Let me finish my notes. Okay? Again, we're here for the community. We're providing you information.
No, you're not. You're gonna break our plan.
Enough.
Oh, I know, I'm gonna pay
Anyways, okay, thank you.
6% more
Thank you.
taxes because
Thank
of
you.
you crooks.
Thank you. The second issue we've heard, second crossing, Fenelon River. We know there's been some discussion on the bypass option. I think that's moving forward in the process. Council would know about that. Of course, if there's another option down the line, as the municipality does their planning for their official plan, their growth management strategies, again, that's their responsibility. If there's any discussion with us that they need to have about potential crossings, we'll certainly have a discussion with them. We have not heard anything yet. Okay? Retail commercial opportunities, we understand there's some interest in that. There's certainly some availability for that. We'll consider that through our proposal, but we'd like to hear, again, no decisions, no solutions. We want to hear what you're interested in terms of the community. We're here to promote a complete community. You'll see that when Scott talks about that. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, make money.
Money on adjacent properties. We've heard that. We understand. There's an interest from neighbors.
We're being
Directly
fixed by
adjacent
you
to our property.
guys.
Thank you.
Get off the stage.
Thank you. I'm gonna take my 5 minutes here. I'm gonna do it. Thank you very much. Because I think this is important. The greater community, I see people's eyes, their faces saying they want to hear this. So thank you very much, sir.
What faces are you seeing,
I'm
dear?
providing the information.
Where were you on?
Thank you. So, planning on adjacent properties, just so you know, municipality requires us to lay out a property like this and identify potential connections to the greater community. That's required. That's just good planning. Is it set in stone? No. Do we own other properties? No. That'll be part of the discussion with the municipality. But they require us to show at least we're thinking about what the future is. Schools. I'm not fully versed in the status of the schools in Fenelon Falls. Every time a subdivision goes through, thank you, goes through a review by the municipality and the school boards. They tell us if they need a school. Our initial review, they've indicated they don't need a school. But again, that is part of the review process. And remember who's responsible for that. It's the school board and municipality indicating what they need from us, if any. And the last thing is, I touched on this already, is housing types. I hope you'll see, again, we are in the business of providing developments that have a great mixture of housing types, size of lots, size of units, types of units. Inherently, that builds in some affordability because there's choice, right? So that's the essence of a plan like this. So we hope that sort of comes through as we work through our development.
What's your idea of affordability?
Yeah.
So,
What are the prices
okay,
of your house?
so,
Pays for the sewage, we did.
so my last comment is, before I turn it over to Scott, I thank you very much. Again, we're here to hear from you. And now that I've been placed in this spot on this stage, what I ask is for everyone to be respectful, to understand, to not make assumptions about us. We are here as a property owner that's trying to find a way to add to this community through residential development.
To make
And we know
money.
how important that is. Thank you very much. So I'll leave you with that. And I do appreciate your support. Again, let's be respectful. You'll have an opportunity to sit with us, stand with us, make your comments, ask your questions after we have some food. And I think that's the best way to do this. Please don't shout things at myself or Scott. That's just not productive. Okay? All right, so with that being said, I'll turn it over to Scott from GHD. I want to make a presentation about our planning application. Can everyone hear me okay? Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. As Ryan said, my name is Scott Waterhouse, land use planner with GHD. So I'm the consulting planner for Tor Construction, Diagram Homes, regarding this proposal. Now, I'll try to go through my presentation fairly quickly because I know there's been a long history, as I understand, to the idea of development on these lands. Certainly well past or well before my involvement in this file. Now, I just wanted to quickly, just for the audience, and I know a lot of you probably are up to speed on this, but as a land use planner, our site-specific work is always informed by high-level municipal planning policy frameworks, such as the City of Court official plan and the Fenelon Falls secondary plan. So, just what I've got here on the screen here, or on the boards in front of us, is an excerpt from the Fenelon Falls secondary plan. And this plan, plus the City of Court Lake's official plan, establish the policies and the framework for development within the municipality, including the City of Court Lakes. Now, in this context, for this property here, a portion of the lands are actually in the Fenelon Falls settlement area boundary. Some of you may be aware of that or up to speed on that. But a portion is outside the settlement area boundary. However, having said that, very quickly, just touch base on the Fenelon Falls secondary plan mapping you see here, which was brought forward and approved by council back in 2015. I'm sure some of you are aware of that process and that work the city council did at that time. That decision proposed to bring the entire property here that is subject to the development applications tonight into the Fenelon Falls servicing and settlement area boundary in 2015, which aligns with our proposal. Now, you're also aware that that decision on council in 2015 was appealed to the OMB at the time, the Ontario Land Tribunal. Those appeals have since been withdrawn and resolved. So from a planning policy framework in terms of guiding our land use planning work, this plan, this Fenelon Falls secondary plan in terms of an urban designation is in effect. So that is in effect with the City of Court Lakes. So I just want to touch on that because I think it's important to note that our applications and our work is not done in isolation or in a vacuum. This is sort of the framework with the city that has informed our applications that Ryan touched on a minute ago. So, just for everyone's benefit, and Ryan mentioned we'll be available to kind of talk individually, answer questions and so on, but I wanted to just quickly touch base and just for everyone's benefit, walk through some of the key aspects of the development proposal. And I know most people got the notice and there was a plan of subdivision, it wasn't colored, it was black and white in that notice, so apologies for that. But what we've got here, we've got other copies over there that we can talk to you afterwards. Provides a visual representation, colored version of our plan of subdivision that has been applied for to the city of Porter Lakes. So mostly it's residential, aligns with the policies and the designation of the Fenelon Falls secondary plan. Within that residential component, mostly it's single attached dwelling lots with some townhouses are proposed, along with, you can see some medium density residential blocks in the orange color. And apologies if it's hard to read at the back of the room, but we can certainly talk to this in more detail after the formal presentation. So mostly a residential development is proposed, where you can see there's a road network proposed as well, connecting to the existing road network being Fourth Lakes Road 121, Clifton Street, Sturgeon Point Road, Concession Road, in terms of tying into that existing road network. Now, the plan of subdivision as proposed also includes a local park, again, which is informed by the Fenelon Falls secondary plan, which called for a new park symbol on these lands, provide that green space, that open space amenities for the future community. Now, I just wanted to maybe also summarize what's been applied for to the city of Porter Lakes. So, an official plan amendment has been applied for. You might say, well, why would you need an official plan amendment if you're designated in the Fenelon Falls secondary plan for development? In the parent OP, only part of the land is in the settlement boundary. So part of our application seeks to expand the settlement boundary in the city parent official plan to align with the now enforced and effective secondary plan. So that's one application. So that second application is the plan of subdivision you see here, which would establish the future lots, blocks, municipal roads, the park, and other land use blocks. Third application that's been applied for is a zoning bylaw amendment. Lands are currently zoned agricultural in the Township of Fenelon zoning bylaw. So part of our application seeks to change the zoning of the lands in order to permit and implement the plan of subdivision. Now, Ryan mentioned about retail and commercial opportunities. Part of the plan of subdivision that I didn't mention before is we've got a mixed-use block located on the Fourth Lakes Road 121 frontage. So what is that? What is mixed use? Well, the intention and what we've applied for with the city and the zoning bylaw would be for a mix of residential and commercial and retail uses or opportunities. And what we've applied for, we've asked for the city in terms of the retail component would be pharmacy, could be grocery store, could be restaurant, could be convenience store, dry cleaners, bank, sort of those neighborhood or local commercial opportunities. Okay, so that's right along the frontage on Fourth Lakes Road 121. So that's part of our development proposal is to have opportunity for those retail and commercial uses for this community. And like I said, afterwards, after the presentation, we're more than happy to, and it's hard to go through all the details on the stage here for everyone, but we're more than happy to talk individually about the plan, about the aspects of the plan of subdivision, but also provide information after tonight's meeting. I know we received some emails from people already, but certainly welcome the opportunity to provide more information after tonight's meeting once you maybe had a chance to look at things further. Now, one thing I did want to touch on, because I know some of the comments we've got back as well, it's a pretty big scale development that you applied for in terms of the community of Fenelon Falls. And certainly what has been applied for in terms of the planning approvals, is this area here. However, my third plan here is a phasing plan. So certainly, and that's been submitted to the city. And what it's showing is the actual development or construction of housing and other amenities on these lands will not happen all at once. It just can't. Both from an infrastructure perspective, okay, there's been a lot of talk about water, wastewater infrastructure, but also road connectivity and just the details of actual land development. You can't build that size of development all at once. So what we've submitted to the city is a phasing plan, the color plan, the third one to my left here, which gives an indication of the initial phase, phase one, which is the sort of yellow color in that corner there, and then the other 4 phases. So it's intended to develop in 4 total phases over a number of years. And like I said, that phasing is a lot of ways informed by servicing and infrastructure capacity limitation. Now, just to touch on, as I mentioned, the applications that have been applied for to the city, as part of those applications to the city, various technical reports and studies were completed and submitted to the city. So these include engineering reports looking at infrastructure capacity in Fenelon Falls, water, wastewater, also stormwater management, and how that is proposed to be addressed. So that's one of the reports. Another report is a traffic study was completed. And obviously it's, I say obviously, but part of its work was looking at, okay, this development and looking at proposed intersections on the existing road network, what would be the impacts, are there any improvements needed, that sort of thing. So that study has been completed and is with the city for review. Third sort of key report, just to highlight for the audience here, is there's an environmental impact study that was completed. So that was a requirement of the city and the Conservation Authority. So development of these lands, you gotta do an EIS, which looks at, to keep it, lack of better words, the birds, the bees, looking at natural heritage features on the site, what impacts there might be from this development and how you might mitigate it. So that work was done, was submitted to the city and for review as well. And it will be also reviewed by the Conservation. So those are sort of the 3 key studies that were completed into review by the city. Other reports were also done, but those are what I'll call sort of the more keyer reports that were completed. Now, I just want to touch on, I mentioned very briefly a second ago about where we are in the process, and I think this is really important. So I want to emphasize that we're very early in the planning process. We're not even talking about actual construction or development of lands, but the planning process. So to summarize for everyone tonight, applications were made to the City of Kawartha Lakes about a month ago, okay? The City of Kawartha Lakes is reviewing our applications and those technical studies I mentioned. First step for them is to, with their city planning staff, is to review what we've given them, ensure that it's a complete application, that we're not missing any information, and then get into that review. Now, just to step back, maybe for everyone's benefit very quickly, before we made our application, we had to do pre-consultation with the city as well. So towards the end of 2022 and into early 2023, we had a meeting with city staff, which outlined all the reports we had to do as part of our application. So that was done before we went ahead and made the applications just a month ago, okay? So as I said, we've applied for official plan amendment, zoning bylaw amendment, and draft plan and subdivision applications. And what the next step for the city is to review our materials. Once they deem the application complete, they will circulate it to internal departments and external agencies, such as Conservation Authority, the school board was mentioned a second ago. So those agencies will be circulated our applications and our materials for review and comment. Now, at some point, the city itself will hold a statutory public meeting. And I say statutory in the sense of the Ontario Planning Act says when you make an application for zoning amendment or official plan amendment, the approval authority, City of Kawartha Lakes, has to hold a public meeting. And don't know when that will occur at this point because they just started their review. But that will occur. That has to happen. And I make that point because I expect that everyone who got notice of tonight's meeting will also receive the same sort of notice from the city when they're ready to hold that statutory public meeting. You will also see signs go on the property, so the city will tell us or tell for construction. You gotta put signs on the property to notify the community. I suspect they'll put notice on their website, social media, that sort of thing as well. So that will also happen. I said, I don't know when yet, but it is a requirement of the city. The timing of that public meeting, as it is up to the city, is not up to us or the applicant. And then looking ahead, after staff have reviewed the technical comments and evaluated public comments received, staff would then bring a recommendation report forward to council for a decision. And typical decisions are refusal, approval, approved subject to conditions, that sort of thing. But I would say that that is quite a ways down the road, because they have to circulate the applications, they have to get some comments back, perhaps, I suspect, Ryan mentioned it, but I suspect there's going to be revisions to the plan in response to public comments, in response to technical comments from agencies. There's going to be a bit of process and time in that regard. Now, I just wanted to mention here is that public comments, Ryan was mentioning about what we're seeking is some feedback, some comments. I think our intention is to provide city staff with the comments we receive, so they're aware of this as part of their review. And like I said, they're gonna have their own public meetings, so everyone here could attend that council meeting as well and make your comments known. But some of the key comments we receive, I think we're gonna be sharing that with city staff to inform their review of the application as well. So, Ryan mentioned we had handouts. I probably didn't make enough copies for everyone. I apologize for that. But for people who have our contact details, I'm happy to receive comments by email afterwards, either write it down and scan it, or just send an email to us. Always happy to receive those comments. I know there's some people who sent some email comments ahead of tonight's meeting, tried to respond to some of them, didn't respond to all of them, so if you're in the audience, apologies for that. But so welcome those comments. So that's sort of the high-level overview of my presentation for the audience tonight. I just wanted to make sure we touched on an overview of the application, the development proposal, where we are in the process, right? As I said, it's very early days, and it could be, maybe Ryan or who doesn't want to hear this, but it could be months, years before you get planning approvals, okay? Or a decision from council. That's possible. But that's not construction, okay? So just to sort of emphasize that point for everyone here tonight. So those are the key things, Ryan, I want to touch on for the audience tonight. As I said, happy to sort of walk around, talk to people, receive comments, either in this sheet or follow-up emails as well. But those are the key things. Just want to sort of make sure was.
Hey, Scott, stop a minute, okay? Sit down.
Yeah.
You shut up.
Question necessary.
Stand up, band council. Stand up.
Yes.
We are board of our station. We are the band council here. We're on our land. This is our land. You're not destroying our farmland. I'm telling you that right now. I have sent you a number of things, Scott. You have never responded to once. And I've warned you, we already have a $1.6 billion lawsuit to file against the city and Tribute Homes and all the people that moved our ancestral remains off that site without doing an archaeological study first. You are going to do what we say you're going to do, my friend. I don't care where you came from. This is our land you're on, not the city.
Tax dollars that you're using to build
And we
this
want to get it clear,
infrastructure.
get the message very clear.
And we
You're
will
not
not.
building on our farmland. That's farmland, my friend. I was in there today. There's white pine trees. There's also crown land patent on that land dated back to 1800s from King George III. You got to deal with that, my friend. That's enough. Thank you, guys.
How much did you pay off the town council?
A lot.
A lot.
A lot.
We don't want to hear
Take
you.
it all.
We thank you for your comment. We thank you for your comment. Wait, hang on. We thank you for your comment, and please feel free to continue to find your comments in writing, whichever way.
Put it in writing's not gonna help you guys are gonna do anything anyways.
We'll see you in court. That's what's better.
One person at a time, hang on. I'll give one question, please.
Perfect.
What was the
Our
question?
environmental assessments, will those be provided to Fenelon Falls community? The
They are,
investigations
once
that
the
you have-
application is received by the municipality,
Do
it
you
is
know
a matter
who
of
did those
public.
investigations?
Can I answer, please?
Yes,
Please.
you may.
It's a matter of public record. You can get those reports from the city anytime. If you want something from us, send us an email, we'll send it to you. It is
You
all
have
matter
to
of
not
public
allow
record.
us to talk as a community.
Anyways, okay, so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna break for some food. We're gonna stand, come and see us, ask questions. Thank you. Thank you. Standing right here. We're right here. Come see us.